So a lot of changes going on here. There was an announcement today you may or may not have gotten that we're going to go to ADP. ADP is a payroll service here in the United States that's actually worldwide. They do about 80% of the largest 500 companies in the United States. And so this is going to be a very exciting um, uh, improvement to the payroll up here. Now, since we moved the payroll dates down there, has it been more consistent in terms of getting your commissions?
I've been getting how are you?
Commissions.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Good, thank you. It has been more consistent.
Okay.
It just hasn't been updated in the back office for a while, which makes it really hard to figure out what we're getting paid for.
So that's another thing with ADP. When they pay you, you will have a dashboard with them, and everything that you are paid for, they will show in your dashboard, and the money will go directly, as it does now, it'll go directly into your bank account. But you will see on the day that you get the payment into your bank account, you will see exactly the trips and the commissions you got paid for. So we are inconsistent in posting in the back office, which is hard because we're having some challenges, which is one of the reasons we went to ADP. So I think you're going to see that as being a much. Now that'll be by March. Actually, we're anticipating it on March 15th. Will be the first date that we do that, and we'll be sending out some emails with instructions on what we'll need to be doing to collect the data that we need. A lot of it we already have, especially with you folks down there, and then whatever we don't, you'll see in terms of an email and some trainings that'll come up. But yeah, what else is going on down there? What can I do for you guys?
Ron, sorry, Kelly, you go.
No, you go first. You go first.
No, the only thing that I had to bring up was about the commissions in our back office, isn't it? We can't reconcile anything since December. Do you think that would be updated before we switch over to this next system?
I will make sure that it's updated before you switch.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I will make a phone call tomorrow and find out why that hasn't happened, and we'll get that done.
Thank you.
I don't know. You guys heard about all the California wildfires and all the crazy stuff that was going on?
Oh, absolutely, we did.
That came to about 3 miles from my house.
Oh, wow.
We lost during the fire. We were down to a skeleton crew for a week. We actually didn't have any power at the office. We didn't have any power and we didn't have any internet. So what we did, we went to I belong to a local country club, a golf club, and we were able to use their executive offices. So we had a small crew of about 10 people that was working in that office. So we've been kind of playing catch up the rest of the month. But we should be back on track now. I will make sure that the updates happen very quickly. I'll get on that tomorrow. In fact, Jennifer, if you could send me an email on that.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that.
Yeah, send that to me, and then I will copy Angela on that. By the way, this Zoom call will be the first Tuesday of each month at 10 o'clock at this time for you, at 10 o'clock at night for me in LA. But what is it, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock for you?
5 o'clock Wednesday.
5 o'clock on Wednesday. So you're a day in front of me and 5 hours behind.
Yes.
And you're the summer and I'm the winter.
Yes.
Wow. As I was saying earlier, I'm really pleased you guys are organically growing it. So how is your suppliers? Is David helping you guys? What else is happening?
I did notice that we have Archer Go in the back office now, like under Australian suppliers.
Okay.
So how does that work exactly for us?
That's a great question because that's Apollo, and so that's a straight airline, but it's in US dollars. and you'd have to do the conversion. But we can issue tickets anywhere in the world. You would just have to look at it and see if it makes sense financially. But if you go into Archer Go, you go in and it's like a booking engine. It's an air hotel car booking engine. You can book it. It'll go into a ticketing queue, and then we'll issue the ticket within a few hours. And then that ticket, you'll get a confirmation email.
I signed up to it because I saw it in the back office this morning. Oh, today. I've had a little look at it, and I did look up some flights from Sydney to Seattle. They actually come up in AUD, but then when I looked up accommodation, it was USD, which is fine. I have no problems with that. But I was surprised that the flights that I picked, or the flights that I put on there, they did come up in AUD, so that was good. But it just looks very basic. So it's just got flights, hotels, cars. That's it, and there's no sort of back office to it or anything. Is that right?
It was really more of it was not really built. Originally, it was built for corporate accounts that just wanted a really an easy reservation system. But you can actually you can book your air on that. And when you put the credit card in there, it will just issue against that credit card.
Okay. And how do commissions get paid on that? Do we still have to submit a commission tracking form?
You have to submit a commission tracking form for the hotels and the cars. There's no air commission as you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have a fiddle with that.
Yeah, play with it and then let me know what you think. And we're talking about expanding it to some cruise lines, but I don't know what would be applicable for you guys. Because again, that would all be it's all going to be based on an API feed from the cruise line. And right now, the only ones that have agreed is Carnival, which I don't think is really good for you guys down there, right?
I mean, yeah, we've got cruises, I think, under control, really, as far as booking. There's so many options for us for cruises. I don't have any problems with cruising.
Okay. So where would you like to see some more suppliers?
Hi, Ron. My name's Christine. How you going? You
Good.
Can't see me. My camera's
I can't see you. I was looking for the picture.
I'm trying to figure that out. How you going?
I'm sorry again. Say again.
I said, how are you?
I'm good. I had surgery. I don't know if you guys. I had the shoulder replacement in January, actually just before Christmas. And I'm doing really good. I'm almost back to being able to play golf. So.
Well, that's good.
I'm good. Life is good.
I guess with regards to suppliers, I understand the US seem to have a lot more than what we do in Australia. I've noticed that with some accommodation, we're not always as competitive as, for example, booking.com is. They seem to always, not always, but sometimes seem to outweigh the rates that we have. So I guess any further accommodation suppliers, I think, that are a bit more competitive would be great, and gives us a bit more of a variety. But I don't know anyone in particular, any like wholesalers possibly.
Have you been using Expedia at all? And
yeah, I use Expedia majority of the time, but they're not always better than booking.com, because booking.com offers genius rates for some customers as well. So if you continuously book with booking.com, you're going to get 15% off if you're at a Genius 2 level. I think Expedia Tap would be great if we could match prices. I don't know if that's something we could throw out to them.
Expedia doesn't do a price matching. What about room res?
Yeah, sometimes I find that they're probably they're not very competitive. I feel like Expedia is probably the best in that component. But then booking.com, when we try and compare, it's like, I found this cheaper on booking.com, and there's not much we can do. And therefore they're like, I'll just book it with them.
How about the Evo Plus program?
Yeah, similar situation. Trust me, I look at it all before I, quote. I look at what's best price for my clients. However, it's not always possible. I'm not saying it always happens. But in some instances, I've missed out for that reason. And there's another thing that I would like to put out there as well. I spoke to Jen Haynes about this, about cruising. So we have a sorry, I know I'm talking, so if anybody wants to jump in, please feel free. However, it's about some of the cruises. So, for example, I had a client who went to Flight Centre. I'm not too sure if you know who they are, Ron, but
I know who, yeah, I know who Flight Center is.
yeah, okay. And they had located a Royal Caribbean cruise, same dates as mine, same everything. And they were able to get that cruise by $400 cheaper than what I was able to provide them. Unfortunately, I couldn't meet their price. I lost a customer as a result of that. There's kind of, it's
What was the
really
cruise line?
frustrating when we are limited to what we can provide.
Okay, what was the cruise line?
It was Royal Caribbean, and it was a Europe cruise.
So are you booking Royal direct? Or are you booking through a supplier?
I'm booking through Royal Caribbean, our supplier, like as in through our how we signed up through Archer Evo. That's how I've been booking them. How I'm supposed to.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Different countries, like in Mexico, we don't book directly with Royal Caribbean. It has to go through a company called Intercruises. So
Okay.
I get a little confused now because we've got so many countries now that we're
Yeah, of course.
working with. It's hard to keep straight all the time. When you've got a case like that, a lot of times what will happen is that somebody like a flight center will block a large number of cabins and treat it under a group contract and sell them individually. And what they'll do is they'll factor back the free cabin in. So, or they'll get more gap points, or they'll get more promotion consideration because they're booking a group and then selling it individually. Next time you have a wide disparity like that,
yes,
let me know.
okay.
Because then what I can do is I can source and find out what was. Everything is common rated. All the cruise lines are selling across the board. Their prices are not supposed to be different from one travel agency to another, regardless of the size of the operation.
Okay.
And what happens is there's ways to manipulate that company by doing different promotions or different programs or different group blocks or net fare contracts or a number of other things. So if you give me a case by case basis, I can source and find out what the reasoning is of the fare differential.
Okay.
And then if it's not a commission give back, or if it's not a group where they're blocking and selling individually, then we can get a price match. And
okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
All right, fabulous. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
No problem. But when you
Can I just intervene on that, Ron? Because I know the situation, and Flight Centre are actually not paying commission to their agents now. They work on a TTV, total travel value, I think it's called, where they have to meet a certain amount of sales, and that's how they're paid. So then they can sell everything without commission on it. So they're getting a net price.
So that's why they're doing it.
So they're taking the 15 or 16% and giving it back to the customer.
Yeah, they're giving it to them net price.
Well, as a business model for Flight Centre, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because there's the only additional money would be bonuses and overrides and co-op dollars, but that's not going to sustain the salaries of their labor force. So if they're doing it on an ongoing basis, that's a recipe for disaster.
It's
They
just
also
my
have
understanding.
pretty much the monopoly here. Sorry,
Yeah.
they also have pretty much the monopoly here. They're the big guns, and they try to squeeze everybody else out, and that's why they're doing it.
Are you on their radar? Do you think that we are on their? You think that our agency is on their radar? That if they hear it's a booking from us, that they're going to cut it? They're undercut it.
Oh,
undercut
absolutely, absolutely.
So
There's
someone
another
might
company
get
as well. There's another company as well. I don't know if, yes, a lot of Australians would know them. They're also owned by Qantas. It's called Trip a Deal. And My Cruises, I think, is owned by Flight Centre. So these two companies are offering such low pricing, including airfares and everything, that I mean, they're hard to compete with when it comes to prices. I've lost a few customers to them.
Send me those examples. I'm going to have to educate myself to see if there's anything that we could do to be more competitive, or work with the cruise lines and find out what's going on, because there's nothing I can do. Well, okay, in the United States, there's an anti-rebating policy where you cannot give back more than 10%. There is you'll get in trouble. You could reduce the price of the cruise out of your commission by giving back up to 10%. But if you're making 16%, 10% back is, it's hard to live on. So I'd have to get more education on that and see what kind of strategies that we could come up with or we could look at. But if you're losing cruises, I want to know if you're losing sales because of pricing differentials with the suppliers. I want to know about it.
Cool. Happy to provide examples.
You know,
Okay.
especially with the companies like Trafalgar, Globus, Bunnings, the prices are almost double what is being offered for a similar itinerary when it comes to Trip-a-Deal, for example. So it's almost double. So it's very
Apples
hard.
to apples.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it's the same exact trip on the same exact date?
Itinerary wise, it's the same, but the hotels are completely different. They're different category hotels, but itinerary, the thing is they make it look so attractive with their ads. They're all over the TV. They make it look really attractive. Their marketing is really good. So they include flights in it as well. So it looks like an attractive package. But I have also received feedback from customers saying a few of them have had horrible experiences and they would never go back. So it's a hit and miss, but still they're very popular. I would
Well,
say 5 out of 10 people prefer a cheap, I don't know. At the moment,
if they're making it look like they're giving you the same package, but they're giving you a 1-star or 2-star hotel versus a 4, if one is if you're quoting a 4-star hotel and they're going to give you a 1-star hotel, there's nothing you can do about that. And you're just going to have to tell your customers, make sure that here's the hotels that I'm providing to you. Here's the ranking of those hotels. Here's the cost of those hotels. Look them up on TripAdvisor, look them up on Expedia, look them up, and then compare to the hotels what they're giving you. They might be pretty pictures, but what's the location? Where are they? What are their hidden costs are there going to be? Yeah, I mean, if it's not truthful advertising, I don't know what to. It's a frustrating situation, and it's all about education with the consumer. However, the frustrating part is you're still going to lose that consumer.
Yeah.
And if you lose them once, they're not likely to come back because they're either embarrassed or they don't want to admit they were wrong. So again, if you've got a price situation where somebody's telling you how much less it is, send me an email and let me do some research and then give you some ammunition to go back with, or find out from the supplier what the hell's going on and why someone else is getting preferential pricing. You're getting to the size down there now where you've got we have credibility and we have enough market share now as you grow that you can get the attention of the suppliers. So get to myself, get to Dave Machon, and let us know. And an email is an email with the supplier and the trip costs and the examples would be great.
Ron, I have another question for you. In the US, is Archer Travel very well known in medias like radio or television or something like that?
It's a great question. Absolutely not. So Archer Travel Service is one of the top 50 travel agencies now in the United States. We will do total gross sales for the company now are exceeding $500 million US, which is about $650 million Australian. But our entire model is not for the general public. We do not advertise to the public in any way, shape, or form. We use the network of agents to do the sales, and we provide a lot of, we provide a lot of marketing materials that they can then turn around and utilize. The reason that we don't do a lot of advertising is that we don't have a way of distributing leads in a fair basis. So if we did a whole bunch of advertising to the general public and they gave us a bunch of leads, politically we would have a very difficult time figuring out who's going to get those leads on a fair and equitable basis. But we've never, as a company, we're not like a we are what's called a host agency model. So we don't have a lot of, we don't do television, we don't do radio, we don't do cable, we don't do newspapers. Because again, we rely on the independent agents, and which is why we give 80% to the agent and 10% to the sponsor and then 10% to Evolution. And then we live off the monthly fee and then other bonuses from suppliers. So there's not a lot of revenue there to also do a lot of marketing and advertising. So there's really a lot of reasons why it was just never a model that we adopted. If we did that, then we would have, what we would be forced to do is hire a large crew of travel agents on salary. And then we would have all the labor and the overhead cost. So therefore we really wouldn't be able to pay out the commission structure. So it is not, we are very, very well known by the suppliers. We are not known by the general public, unless you're in the corporate market, because I was very large with corporate and business sales. We had a lot of we had British Petroleum, Arco, Union Oil. We did a lot of manufacturers, banks, museums. We do all the major museums in the United States. So on the corporate level, we're well known. On the consumer level, we are not. Which again, in Australia, you guys are battling against a consumer, powerhouse who goes out and markets on television and online and newspapers and always put specials and these types of programs out. Where you're gaining your business is by personal contact and not only friends and family, but people that, referral-based marketing. So the other thing too is with the type of advertising that they do, they're getting of course, they are such a monopoly down there. They're getting a lot of what we call tire kickers. Somebody would go and say, well, how much is, somebody's going to ask you, well, how much is this going to cost? And then you give them a price and you never see them again. So, that's got its own challenges too. So I don't know where to go with that other than maybe help you guys to do some other individual marketing. And most people are adopting social media these days. You're doing well in terms of sales. I see the sales volume and it's coming up. So how you guys tell me, how are you marketing to compete with that?
Collectively, there's nothing. I'm sure everyone is doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing, certainly that way. But if somehow, I always wish that if somehow the profile of Archer Travel Australia is projected somehow, I don't know how, whether we can do it collectively or, even if there's some kind of an ad campaign saying there is a conglomerate of travel agents here who work independently, but under the umbrella of Archer Travel Australia. And if there's some awareness of that, people will take notice. See, Trip-a-Deal was nowhere. I'm sure all the agents will tell us. We'd not even heard of them 5 years ago. Where was Trip-a-Deal? Today, 5 out of every 10 people are booking through them. Their services crap. I don't know, somehow it's just...
I don't know if we need to do that. Like, we're all independent agents. Do we need to lift Archer's profile publicly? I don't think we do.
I don't think you do. I think you
do either.
No, I think what you do is you lift your own profile. I think you go out as the expert. Yes. I think that, you're being supported by us, but it's your own independent business. And therefore you can run it any way that you see fit. And you don't have to run by any rules and regulations other than what's legal and ethical as far as we're concerned. Okay. but if we could help you with marketing your own, programs, let us know if we can come up with some, more specials, or, I can talk to Dave, I can talk to the suppliers and see if we can't get them to be more aggressive or give us some of the specials that, on a more of an ongoing basis that we could put in the travel cafe that you guys could download and use on social media. That would be one thing that we could possibly help with.
I think something with regards to social media, TikTok is, I understand it was banned not long ago in the US for a short time, but here in Australia, it seems to be one of the rising social media platforms. It's not really used. I feel like it's used more for a search engine as well. So I feel that if you start to post on TikTok and you build the algorithm, you'll start to get more clients coming to you. They want to have more of a personal brand and a personal connection. And the more you post about yourself, as well as what you can offer, you tend to build rapport with people you don't even know, and they'll tend to be drawn to you because they like you and they trust you. So that's what I've been doing, I guess. I've been posting a lot more on social media, and I'm finding I'm getting a lot more traction as a result of that. So Instagram Reels, TikTok, all of that kind of stuff, posting deals. So searching and finding and doing price comparisons, I find is really beneficial. Anyway, just some food for thought there.
I agree.
So-
And what we bring that Flight Centre don't bring is the personal service. If you speak to anybody that's been waiting for 3 weeks for an appointment for a Flight Centre agent, they don't want to be waiting 3 weeks to talk to somebody, and they don't want to be given 2 options and not being able to change anything or whatever. So we're a completely different thing than what Flight Centre offer. And that's, if you brand yourself, like Christy said, and do all the social stuff, which is what I've been doing, social stuff as well. Not on TikTok yet, but I'm going to learn it. I think that's better branding for us. We don't need to worry about competing with Flight Centre because they're coming to us afterwards. They don't want to be handled by Flight Centre. They don't like it.
There's
Just
an
on
agent.
that, though, sorry, Ron, I was just saying, with that Flight Centre, though, people sometimes do get quotes from us, Callie, and then they'll go to Flight Centre, and that's where they'll be, I'll be able to beat that for you. Some people are really money conscious at the moment, and that's the thing that's peeved me a little bit. It's like, I've done all this work, and then you go to Flight Centre and they, cut the cost by $400. It's like, why can't I beat that? That's the only annoying thing.
Yeah.
Well,
That's frustrating.
that's the good question. Why can't you beat that? Why can't you be competitive with that price? Are they quoting the same hotel? Are they quoting the same dates? Are they, the last guy that people talk to is the guy that they tend to book with. If you've called 2 or 3 agencies, they're rarely will they call the first agency back. Oh, they'll take the information after the first agency and work the second agency, and then they'll work the third agency, and it just keep working it that way. That's just the other thing too. A lot of times, in the US, a lot of agents are doing this strategy where they'll do a planning fee, let's say $50. If you would like me to work up 3, I can have 3 recommendations for you. Have a series of questions. What's your budget? What's your dates? What are you looking to do? Work up a series of questions and say, okay, now I can work you up 3 or 4 different trips, but I have a minimum planning fee of $50, $75, $100. And if you book with me, we will apply that to your booking. Or you could, depending on the size of the booking, you could say, one strategy would be, look, if it's a big enough booking, I'm going to charge you $100 planning fee, but if you book with me, I'll give you a $200 credit. Well, that's great if you're going to make a $600 or $700 commission. So again, it's a matter of how you market yourself and creatively how you want to go about that as well. Also, are they competitive in the groups market? Are you guys looking at building your own group business down there?
Yes.
Right? Are you getting involved with booking group cruises and tours, or these types of programs? I think it's harder for them to discount when you're doing some group strategies as opposed to just the individual strategies too.
Yeah, groups. I'm doing a lot of groups, especially on Carnival at the moment. They're so easy. So many people.
Is Carnival big for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, for me it is. because it goes out of Sydney, and it's just like the quickest, easiest thing for them to book. Grab 5 or 6 people like cabins, and they'll just book straight away.
And I feel
There's
like
no
it's
thinking.
probably one of the more affordable ones too.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for families. Like we'll get a lot of family groups, multi-generational groups that want, 7, 8, 9 cabins, and just they'll just book them straight away and go.
And I feel that Carnival's probably going to grow for us very, very shortly once P&O gets absorbed into Carnival fully over the next couple of months as well.
Lee, where you been? I've been talking for a half hour, and you just now talking?
I'm doing 1,010 different things as well as being under the weather, Ron. So I was letting other
I'm
people
sorry you're
have
not feeling
a bit
well.
of a chat. That's okay, mate. We do these things and we just survive.
I will. If that's good to know, because I just had a planning meeting with Carnival US today. They're looking for ways to grow their brand in different areas, so I could certainly have a meeting with them and see what I will inquire as to what we may or may not be able to do down there with some strategies that we're using. So that's good to know. What other stuff could give me some more information that I could absorb and come back to you with?
Can I ask about Disney? Can we get some way of being able to book Disney here in Australia, please?
I'm sorry,
Because
say that again.
Disney, can we get some way of being able to book Disney here in Australia?
You
Because
cannot book Disney?
we can book Disney cruises, but it's only through another vendor called Creative Cruising, but that's it. It's very, 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 very limited. We don't have direct access to Disney as agents, and we can't book tickets or anything like that unless we sign up for VAX in the US, which then kicks you out every 2 months if you're not active enough in there.
We can book it online if you want to, Kelly. I can explain to you, but I normally go through to Disney travel agents, and I can do all of my bookings online for hotels and for tickets and for everything else for Australia.
I've been asking that for a long time.
Oh,
That's awesome, but
I'm
can
sorry.
you
Yeah,
share
if you
that
want to
with
just
everybody?
reach out.
Obviously, it sounds like you're doing that on the US site because there's no booking engine on the Disney travel.
Yeah, correct. I have done
No,
it. It's
I
probably
mean for Australian
US website.
Yeah, no, I mean for Australian website, because there is a Australian Disney one, but we don't have access.
No.
And that
Send-
creative cruising is an absolute nightmare to try and get registered with. I've had a lot of agents, including myself, that have had trouble registering with them.
I had no trouble registering with them. I haven't
No.
actually booked anything through them, but that's the only way I know of that we can actually book a Disney cruise.
Or you can ring them as well. Over the phone, they can do the bookings for anything, for hotels and for tickets and also for cruises. But everything is in the US. You have to Skype them.
Yeah,
Yep.
no,
Is that
The
Disney?
thing that I
Australian
find,
agents in general in Australia, there is a Disney Australia travel agent site, but we don't have access. But I think we need to.
Send me an
If
email.
possible at all, Ron.
Send me, it's okay. Send
Yeah,
me
it
an email, Kelly. When you send me the email, mention all the stuff that we're talking about. Mention the mention Disney, mention Carnival, mention price comparisons.
Okay.
Kelly, can you also add to that like Disney, Japan, Hong Kong, or pretty much all Disney? Is that okay?
Disney parks.
Yep.
Disney parks. You need Disney cruises and Disney parks.
Yeah, because Japan is a real hot destination for Aussies in the last couple of years, and everyone's flocking to Japan. Well, I'm finding that anyway. So
very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult unless you go to Klook. So we need some sort of agreement run with Klook if you have anything with them, because Klook are the ones who are actually taking all of the market for us in regards to Japan, everything Japan. Klook is like the best option for Aussies to book in, including Disney, Japan.
Okay, so what's the
the
name
only
of the
problem
company?
with something like Klook is the fact that they're another third-party operator, just like Klook, KLOOK, and they're a third-party website, so they're buying inventory just like your Booking.com and all that sort of thing.
They're an aggregator.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about Agoda?
Same thing.
Okay.
They're all the same sort of thing. They're all similar to Expedia, but in the way they actually operate, they buy the inventory and all that sort of thing and then sell it off. But most of them do it to the general public rather than agents like what Expedia does.
Okay. Put Klook in the email too. Klook, I've never heard of him. Okay. Also, okay, don't forget to put in the uploading the back office, the commission payments, the commission payment update.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to the list? Now's the time.
Something that I've been pushing for a long time, Ron, that's our domestic airlines. We did have Bonza when they were around, but obviously they didn't last very long. But if we could get access to like Qantas, Jetstar, Virgin, direct access, you guys can register as an agency, and then we can sub-register under the agency account. Like there's no commissions or anything like that, but it's the different rates that we can get access to that they provide to their travel agent partners.
Hey, Lee, you can actually register with Jetstar as a trade partner, and you get the trade.
Yeah, the problem we had with that, though, was when everybody started registering using Archer's IATA number, it was linked to that one individual agent and not to Archer Travel.
You don't need an IATA number to register as a trade partner.
You used to.
Oh, okay. I think they must have changed. Just FYI.
Yeah. This was going back. Look, we've been having this issue for a number of years. So, but if we can get direct access to those airlines through Archer for everybody, it doesn't give us the commission, but it gives us access to the different rates, and it can help us to become a lot more competitive. It can help us to venture into things like corporate markets, that sort of thing. At the moment, corporate we can't really go into because we don't have that direct access into the airlines to be able to do what we need to do for corporate clients. So,
okay, Lee, I'm going to give you a homework assignment.
Thank you.
Get me the airlines and get me the contact information. I will reach out personally.
Okay.
Speak to Sarah Rogers. I sent it all through to her last week. I know she's away in Hawaii at the moment. So I sent her through that, and I also sent her through our local theme parks as well. So for places like Movie World, Sea World, all that sort of thing, I sent through that as well. So hopefully,
do you guys have
just
Viator?
have a chat with Sarah.
Is Viator down there?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It does have some options for the theme parks, but they're not really the greatest. So
in terms of what, who's better?
Direct access into the theme parks and that are obviously better. So there's things like those, and then there's also companies like Ticketek and Ticketmaster, which do a lot of your sporting events, concerts, all that sort of thing, which would be very, very handy as well if we can get access to that sort of stuff.
Well, I don't believe Ticketmaster's commissionable, though.
I don't know for sure what they actually do, but
all
of the events and things like that here are basically all the tickets are sold through those two companies. So unless we can get access to that sort of thing, we can't really provide that to our clients.
Well, Ticketmaster is a retail.
Email.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, could you please include this to the email that is supposed to be sent to Ron? And also include Qatar, Singapore Airlines, and Emirates?
Yes.
Sorry.
Qatar, Singapore, and Emirates?
Yes,
okay.
please. Yes, please.
Ideally, with the international airlines, what we need is something like a consolidator or something like that. So, like Downtown Travel, Ron, how they've got that sort of setup. We need to find something like that here. I haven't been able to find anything as yet. If anybody else can find something that we might be able to access in the way of that type of thing, would help everybody, because then that gives you access to all of those international airlines rather than individual ones, if that makes sense.
And commission?
Yeah, a consolidator, a downtown travel down there would be awesome. And Expedia is not doing air for you guys?
They do, but It's very limited. We get limited options on you know how you have your different classes within your different categories of cabin. So you've got your economy cabin, your economy plus, business, all that sort of thing. But you've got your J, your K, your V, or you get very limited options as to what you can actually choose for the clients. So you might not be able to get the option of including checked baggage, for example, because that's a particular class of that cabin that they're quoting you
on. Okay. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Ticketmaster, for example, there's competitors up here. One is called StubHub. Another one is Golden Ticket. Are those any names you recognize?
Golden Tickets is not really good for Australia as far as Australian events. It's great for like the US events, that sort of thing.
Right. I'm just trying to find if there's any comparative to Viator besides the Ticketmaster, which is again a retail model. But I could certainly look into that. The thing with the international, I'm wondering if there's a way that we can, if we can sign up with the carriers without having an IATA number in Australia, because I mean we could sign up with the carriers, but unless we go in and put in a full blown GDS system with ticketing, that would be tough for us to assemble. So trying to find a partnership with a consolidator would be advisable, would be the way to go. But I'm wondering if we couldn't find a relationship with a small agency, but I don't think, are they going to give you the pricing that you're going to need? Are they going to give you the access that you're going to need?
With the domestic airlines, they don't. They have the same booking portals like what we actually use. They're not necessarily using GDS type systems for the agents anymore. They're going into the direct access portals like what we use for everything else. So as far as international, I'm not sure or what the setup would be with the consolidator.
Okay, if you get me the airlines, I will do the investigation. If we can sign up for the carriers and give you access, I'll certainly do that.
So Talene, I wanted to ask a question.
Absolutely.
Can you guys? Awesome, thanks. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm a super no, so I'm sorry if I'm derailing a little bit here, but I've gotten my permanent residency in Australia and I'm super duper new. I know that over time, obviously you're on social media and that's how you gain a lot of clients, but I would imagine as a beginner, you're going to have certain contacts here where you know that you can get your first clients in. I just wanted to know in general, are you guys, do you mainly deal with Australians because you're in Australia and because you happen to know obviously more Aussies, or do you find that you end up dealing with people from all over?
Talene, where are you from?
Well, I lived in California for 20 years, but I've lived in Australia for 5 years now, and I have maybe limited connections compared to people who have lived here all their lives.
So here's a question. So where'd you live in California?
I was near San Francisco.
Okay. So do you still have contacts and friends up there?
A few, yeah.
There's your clients.
Yeah, I guess I'm asking this because as someone who is doing a full-time role in Australia, I have people really hesitant with me because I have an accent. And so there's always a little bit of a barrier there because I'm not familiar in that sense. So I'm like wondering where my target demographic is. So are you suggesting that I should kind of stick to people?
No. No. I'm not suggesting. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting you stick to one market. What I'm suggesting is don't limit yourself to one market. Look all over. You could,
okay.
We have agents that are coming on from Australia that are being recruited out of Mexico. You can find. Yes, is an American accent a bad thing in Australia?
No, I find it actually really
We're
strange.
very multicultural here. Everyone's got an accent, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's the
Starting with
context.
me.
I work a job where I end up having to ask a lot of personal questions. So it's maybe the combination of having an accent and then also pretty quickly getting into super personal questions. So I
Ooh,
meet
what
a
do you
lot of
do?
I basically find clients to get booked in with mortgage brokers so that people can get the best deal on homes.
Yeah,
And so
you're
it's,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
I get it.
So that's a very specific experience. And then that means that 90% of my interactions are people on the defense, which I fully understand. But it also means I'm not sure whether people will be super receptive to me. So I'm wondering like if there's a certain demographic or something that I should start with.
Don't carry over the fear from one job into the next. People that want to go on vacation want to have a good time. They're not they just want someone that they can trust, that is going to give them good, honest information, good, honest appraisal. You know, the types of questions you're asking as a mortgage broker, it's like, what do you make? You know, how much, you know, what's your budget? How much you spend on this and this? You know, you're going to ask a lot of questions. Whereas on a vacation, it's like, gee, what do you like to do? Are you a fun in the sun type of person? Do you like music? You know, are you cultural? I mean, you know, the questions that you ask, make it fun and positive, and you'll get a fun and positive response. You're going to get what you give, and don't let the psychology of what you're getting in your first job to carry over, because you're delivering fun and memories. And that's the way you really, I mean, you're there to help these people to make lifelong memories. And that's a big deal. And people, you know, people want to work with people that they like, you know, keep a smile on your face and, you know, treat them with respect, which I'm sure you do, at professional and, you know, said, you know, stuff like, gee, that sounds like fun. I wish I could do that. I mean, you know, be engaging with these people. Don't, and by the way, they want you to win. People want you to win. When they call you, they want to have a good time. They want to work with people that are personable, that really they feel like care about what, you know, how they're spending their money, and they're going to protect their money. So I would come from that. And you know what, I would join social groups down there. You know, I do a whole sales presentation about, you know, my mother and father built it. There wasn't any such thing as the internet when my folks built their business. You know, my mother was the head of the PTA, or the Parent Teachers Association. My dad was a little league coach. My dad volunteered at the local church. My parents belonged to a local country club, a social club. They were engaged in the community, and it was, you know, it was all word of mouth, which is what you guys are going to really have to rely on because of the big marketing budgets that your competitors have. You know, you're going to win by making personal relationships, because your competitors are not building personal relationships at all. I had a woman that sent me an email out of the blue. She sent me an email from the East Coast today. She says, I'm looking for a travel agency for all of our airline tickets, and we're looking for a new travel agency to go to. And it's a dirt car. In the United States, we have what's called dirt track racing, which is a motorsports program. And it's big. It's race cars on dirt, as opposed to, you know, some of the supercars you have and stuff like that. Well, I happen to love dirt cars, and so I called her up and I started asking questions. I started telling her about my experience and, you know, how much I'm into motorsports. I was connecting on a level so that she knows that I understand her customer base, and I can talk intelligently to her customer base. And if you sell what you love, if you're a Disney person, sell Disney. If you're an all-inclusive or a cruise person, start selling there, and then expand your base based on that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents tonight.
Ron, on that, can I just ask you something? So I am actually Mexican, and I actually have a lot of customers, a lot of clients that are from Mexico. And I have to say, it's hard to compete with the local rates. How do you, what do you suggest on that regard? Like sometimes obviously compete with us, like the Australians, well, for my Australian market. But when it comes to my Mexican market, I actually struggle. They have great deals that they get, like to destinations like Las Vegas and things like that. What do you recommend we can do? Is there something we can do to also, us Australians, kind of join the Mexican kind of deals that you have in there?
Who do you have contacts in Mexico with Evolution? Do you have anybody like Chris Trujillo or Catherine Mirando?
I do, Stephanie.
I would talk to them because, excuse me, our sales our sales in Mexico have just exploded. And we've really brought on a lot of robust suppliers down there. And the thing about Mexico is a lot of their bookings are coming through. They have 3 major suppliers that they're booking in Mexico that they're subject to the VAT tax. The rest of the suppliers, they're actually booking, and then we're being paid in the United States, and then we're paying them in U.S. currency, which Mexicans, as you know, prefer. So if you talk to some of the agents in Mexico, I'm sure they could give you, like with Mexico, we book all their Disney. So all their Disney is pretty much coming through us. The cruises are going through Intercruises or different cruise suppliers that we've established for them. But yeah,
it's more like the package deals. It's more like the package deals that they are able to get from, say, their retail stores like their Costco or their Palacio de Hierro or things like that. Like they get these amazing deals where they can actually pay in in different payments, and they get the package deal with the accommodation and also with the flights.
Yeah. So Costco is a big discounter in the United States as well as Mexico. Are you guys you have Costco?
Yeah,
we do, but Costco, I don't think we do traveling here. Yeah.
Costco Travel sells at net. They make their money on the fee that they charge for membership, and they literally sell their products at net. So they are difficult to compete with. But again, you're in a service situation. So again, it's a relationship versus a price structure. That is difficult. But you're saying Costco doesn't sell travel down there yet?
No.
No.
Okay.
Aldi does though.
Aldi does, yes.
Who again?
Aldi.
Aldi, is that a grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a German brand.
A German brand selling travel.
It's like a grocery outlet.
I should say
it's
a
relatively
German grocery
new.
store selling travel.
Yeah, it's relatively new.
Yeah.
They started up about 6 to 12 months ago.
That's right.
Interesting. Well, send me some samples of what these guys are doing, and let me do some research and find out. Again, what they're doing is they're selling it net. If that's what they're doing it as loss leaders and selling it net. So, I mean, the strategies on those are then you're selling service. But as you said, a lot of people price. So
yeah,
you're stuck between a rock and a hard spot. But again, there are some strategies, and we can start developing some concepts and some ideas, and be more aggressive in terms of giving you guys some specials, some marketing specials. So let's take a look at that and go from there. But again, I would add those on. But I again, is it Cynthia? Is that who's asking about Mexico?
Yes.
I would talk to the kids in Mexico and find out who they're booking through with their packages, because they're doing well. They're doing very well as far as sales.
Ron, I've just added the Aldi Holidays link on the chat for your reference.
Well, don't put it in the chat because I don't really go through the chat. Stick it in the email to me.
Okay,
Kelly.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys, I am gonna take like one more question, then I'm gonna sign off because it's a little late over here.
Well, a bit past your bedtime, Rob.
Nah.
Can I just ask then real quickly, Ron, if we have clients, say, in the US wanting a Carnival cruise, for instance, and we're here, are we better off registering for US Carnival to sell it to them, or are we supposed to be selling it to them via Australia?
Check and see where the best price is. And if it's a better price in the United States, call us and you can book it through us.
Sorry, you were muted or something for the first bit of that.
So check and see where the better price is. If the better price is in the United States, contact Dave Michon and have him book it, process it through us.
Okay. Okay, because I wasn't sure what we were supposed to be doing if we have overseas clients, whether we're supposed to be booking them.
You're supposed to make the sale.
Okay, so it doesn't matter as long as
you tell me what you need us to do to help you complete that sale.
Okay.
If the price is better in the United States or you need access to something out of the US, you do not worry about cross-border selling because everybody's given us approval to do it. Do you guys have MSC down there yet? MSC?
Yeah. Yeah.
We just got approval to do cross-border selling with them as well.
So is there certain companies we're allowed to do that with?
Well, that's a funny question. It depends who you ask.
Okay. That doesn't help.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Kelly, you will be sending an email to Ron with all our questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So please don't forget the commissions because that's very important.
And I will be responding back.
Yeah.
And
okay, awesome.
I will make sure that you guys get your commission payment updates for your back office so you can see what you get paid for.
Yes, please, because it's hit and miss, to be honest. That page it was awesome for a while, and then now it's like it's not being updated.
Yeah, and that's going to go away. I don't know if you're on the first part of the call. That's going to go away by March 15th because we're going to a new program that's going to list all your payments as soon as you get your check, as you get your wire into your bank account. You'll have a dashboard where you'll be able to see exactly what you're paid for. And that's being run by a company called ADT.
Yeah, because they're also taking massive amounts of time, Ron. It's becoming a little bit out of control. Like it's just taking too long to get paid. It's like you book one day.
If you've got commissions due you and you're not getting response from the commission team, send me an email and I will put it to the right people.
Yeah. Okay. Because it says that we are not supposed to go back to them until they are like 60 or 90 days delayed. It's like that's incredibly long. I mean, if we are a business, I mean, we're a business, we have to kind of survive, and the cash flow is not happening. It's very difficult for us to do business. Yeah.
Okay. So the policy has changed as of the first of the year. And I have been speaking about this as far as the commissions. The commission tracking form. The commission tracking form needs to be put into the system within 30 days of the reservation date. Because when the commissions are received, when the commission tracking form is received after we've received the commissions, we don't know where to put the money, so it goes into a holding account. And then when the commission tracking form is put in, then we have to go through thousands of transactions to try to find that tracking, which is another reason that we have changed to ADP. Also, on March the 1st, we will, I don't know if we're going to go live worldwide, but we are changing from what's called the commission tracking form to a commission invoice form. And that will be a new automated invoice form where you will be able to, several things are going to happen. Number one, you'll be able to edit the form. So if you have a change in your reservation, you don't have to file a new form. You just change the old one. If you have a group, your group form and your individual form will be on the same one. Each commission tracking form will have a unique ID so that you can search where your commission tracking form is by ID number, not by having to go through and scroll through all your. So there'll be a whole database that's built. The commission invoice form and the automation of the back office, I signed a contract for about $150,000 US to develop this. The first component is the new commission invoice form, where you will, in essence, are invoicing us for your commission. And that needs to be put in within 30 days of your reservation date, or the commission goes from 80% to 60%.
Yep.
So you guys have all heard it. Now, here's the secret. I will not deduct the 20% unless we've received the money before we receive the invoice. So you could still turn it in 60 or 90 days, but then you're playing a game of chicken to see if you're going to beat if the form's going to beat the money. But if you put that form in within 30 days, then I guarantee you'll never lose that 20%. So, and the other thing is too, there's no reason to wait on a commission tracking form or a commission invoice form, because if they don't go, if they cancel the trip, you don't have to cancel the form. The form will drop out of the database at the point where the trip didn't go, or whatever the date that the trip was supposed to go, it will drop out if nothing has been done on it. So again, we're doing an entire enhancement. The beta test starts on the 19th, and then we're going to test it for 2 weeks, and then we're going to put it out around the first week of March, and you'll see that coming in as well. So March is going to be a big month between the new payment structure and the commission invoice form and the new ADP. You're going to see some changes, which is going to really facilitate getting you paid faster. So it's been a long time coming, but I'm very excited about it because this will make a difference.
Yeah. Okay. So regularly, just so that we all understand, regularly our suppliers will pay you the commissions in about 30 days, or is it normally more than that?
No, suppliers will pay us depending on the suppliers. Suppliers will pay us. They'll start payment structure within on the day that the travel leaves. Some suppliers pay on the day of travel.
Yeah.
Some suppliers pay on the day of final payment, because at the day of final payment, then it's 100% penalty in most cases.
Yes.
So it varies by supplier. But if you're doing a reservation, and by the way, it usually takes them 2 to 4 weeks to even process the check and get it out to us. So we get paid by Expedia, for example, and Expedia is the largest. Expedia is the largest supplier that we utilize. They pay us once a month, and it's usually right about the 15th to the 21st of the month. And they pay us one payment for each of the countries, one for the US, one for Australia, one for Mexico, one for the UK. And that usually comes in once a month. Now, they used to pay us when the reservation and the trip was paid for, regardless of whether it was 3 months, 6 months, 9 months in advance. If you paid for it up front, they would pay the commission. They no longer do that. None of the companies do that anymore. So I would say that the average commission, the average trip is booked 3 to 4 months in advance. And I'm not talking about 2 nights hotel and an airline ticket. I'm talking about an all-inclusive or a cruise or these types of things. They're booked a couple of months in advance typically. So you're not going to see payment on that, at least if you book 3 months in advance, you're going to see the payment on that. It's going to take about 4 to 5 months, 3 months till travel, and then 30 days after that, and then you go into the system. And if we receive the money between the 1st and the 15th, we pay it out at the end of the month. If we receive the money between the 15th and the end of the month, we pay that out on the 15th of the next month. So we'd have a 2-week window to put it in, then it's processed through ADP, and then it goes into you guys. So again, getting paid a commission is not, we don't get paid immediately upon final payment in a lot of cases. Sometimes we do, but again, that's when they put it in for payment. They got to put it into their accounting department. They've got to approve it. They got to do the audit. They got to cut the check. They got to send it to the bank. They got to send it out to us. Sometimes it's check. Sometimes it's a wire. Disney, I get checks every single day from Disney.
Disney is great. Disney is the best one, to be honest. It's sensational.
Yeah, Disney. I mean, if everything works and you guys get your commission tracking forms in on time and it's before the money and we get paid by the supplier, it's like clockwork. Now we're just going to automate the whole system so there's no human error or human involvement. And things like the fires and these types of things or power outages aren't going to affect us in that regard. So this will be a nice upgrade. I'm very happy about this. And with that, I've run an hour and 6 minutes, and I'm going to bed.
Thank you so much.
So Kelly, send me off that email today, and then when I get in the morning, I'll start sending it out to the proper people, and we'll start doing the research and get back to you guys. I should be able to get back to you with some answers no later than Friday, and then by Friday, your Saturday. And then Lee, you're going to get me. Did Lee leave? Lee left. Did Lee leave? Oh, no, Lee's there.
I'm still here.
So Lee, you're going to send me airline information, and I'm going to start doing research on that.
Yeah, I'll send you what I've sent to Sarah.
Yeah, just send me what you sent her. Just copy me on it.
Will do.
All right, thanks, guys. Everybody have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.